Paul has spared the known universe in Dune by overthrowing the Padishah Emperor and saving Arrakis and the Fremen people from exploitation. And now you're just ready for the sequel to be more of that space opera, swashbuckling, grassroots revolution high Book 1 left you on. Nope. This isn't it. Hey everybody, welcome back to It's Too Late to Apologize Book Reviews. I'm Stella, and today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite sequel, Dune Messiah. So Dune Messiah was also written by Frank Herbert and serialized in Galaxy magazine and published in 1969, 4 years after Dune. This novel takes place 12 years after the events of Dune, and Paul Atreides, known as Muad'Dib, rules as emperor. But he is not only the emperor, he has become Muad'Dib, a messiah to the Fremen people, and unleashed a jihad that has conquered most of the known universe. Over 60 billion people have perished from this jihad, and Paul is the most powerful emperor ever known, but is powerless to stop the Fremen from slaughtering their way across the universe in his name. And yet Paul's prescient visions indicate that this fate or path is better than the other possible outcomes for humanity. How depressing. So in this novel, we come back to Dune, and we discover that there is a widespread conspiracy forming to dethrone Paul. The Bene Gesserit, Spacing Guild, and the Tlaxu plot to end Paul's reign over the universe, and a guild navigator uses his own prescience to hide the plot from Paul's own prescient visions. So now Paul is blind to the coming betrayal, but he knows danger is afoot. And even though he knows so much, there are still things he can't see, which was a great angle for Herbert to add to the story to keep tension in it. I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to spoil anything else for those who haven't read it yet. Now, if you've read Dune, loved it, and figured that the sequel was going to live up to the first novel, it doesn't. But I don't mean that in a bad way. If you haven't read Dune yet, there will be some spoilers in this, so you've been warned. Dune was this very exciting novel where Paul becomes a part of the Fremen people by embracing their culture and ways and liberating them from the Padishah Emperor and the Harkonnens by embracing the Fremen dream of turning their world into a green paradise. Fast forward 12 years later, and we catch up with Paul, but he is a very different Paul. Readers who wanted that idealistic hero they read about in Dune are going to be disappointed with Messiah. The tone is so dramatically different in this novel, it's a shock. We meet a bitter, disinterested Paul that has watched the people he has saved from the Padishah Emperor become the people that enslaved the universe instead. He is forever changed, and he is a prisoner within a prison of his own construction. It's so poetic and realistic for someone like Paul who knows he is not the deity the Fremen think he is. Dune ended on a note of enthusiasm and hope, and Messiah is about that jaded, corrupt machine that becomes the reality of absolute power. It was done so very purposefully, but it's not all about Paul. Sure, there are no sandworms in this novel, I'm sorry to say, but what there is a lot of is conversation and internal monologue. I know, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's mine. Now, it's not always very natural conversation, but I think it's fitting with the Dune world and the political doublespeak and intrigue going on. What we also get is a better understanding of Aaliyah, and I was really ready for that. When Lady Jessica, who unfortunately doesn't make an appearance in this novel, undergoes the spice agony in the first book to become the first Reverend Mother of the Fremen people, she does so while being pregnant with Aaliyah. What this does is it awakens the memories and experiences of all the thousands of other Bene Gesserit Reverend Mothers locked away in their genetic code within both the Lady Jessica and also the unborn Aaliyah. So Aaliyah was basically born a Reverend Mother. The Bene Gesserit call Aaliyah an abomination. She has never been a child or one singular person, and so has always been this strange weirdo. And I found it really interesting to try to understand what it was that Aaliyah was grappling with in this story. And it's no wonder that her and another character that is introduced in this story, who I don't want to spoil, are attracted to one another. The other character is a Gola named Hate, a sort of clone that has been genetically engineered by the Tlaxu as a gift to Paul. Hate has no memory. Only the people around him and his genetic makeup tell him who he is. And the Tlaxu have trained and embedded deep subliminal directives into his subconscious. And he knows he was sent to Paul as an instrument of destruction. And so Hate is constantly questioning who and what he is. And yet, on the other hand, Aaliyah has the memories of thousands of others of Reverend Mothers, as well as her own mother, the Lady Jessica. So what is she? Is she all these memories, or is there something else that is actually her conscious, that is actually her? She has never known herself as a separate singular being, only with her own memories. These two characters have so much in common and yet are the complete opposites of one another. And at its core, this is a deeper philosophical question than it might seem when we're reading this novel. Are we, our personalities and our conscience, more shaped by our DNA, or are we an accumulation of our experiences? Nature or nurture? Which is the stronger force in shaping an individual? This is another debate I have with my psychiatric nurse friend who I spoke of in my Faust review. He would say that we are our DNA more than we are our experiences. But there is no doubt that a few life-altering events can take a healthy psyche and turn it into something else entirely. Are we just a biological program running in the background? Or are we our experiences and how we choose to respond to them? It's an existential question at its core. And hate and Aaliyah are two sides of the same coin here, and it's fascinating, or at least it is to me. Paul is not the golden hero in this novel. A lot of readers hate him in this novel. But one of my favorite scenes is where Stilgar, who has always stood by Paul as friend and family, turns from seeing Paul as a man and becomes one of the throngs of believers. Paul sees this, and he realizes he has lost his only friend. And it is this very lonely, sad moment for him, to lose one of the few people that sees him as a human being. The story moves quite slowly until the explosion that happens about 2/3 of the way through the book. And then from there, it's a race to keep up because the pace just takes off. And the ending. Oh, the ending. This novel was so much more subtle than Dune was. Dune almost bludgeons you over the head with certain things, like with the betrayal of the physician, Yule. But not in Messiah. Messiah is a subtle beast. So have you read Messiah? What were your thoughts? Did you love it or hate it? But how beautiful are these new Ace paperbacks? Like, the covers are so nice. So we have Dune, we have Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, Chapter House, Heretics, and God Emperor. Look at the spines and the color change. But seriously, does this annoy you as much as it does me? Like, look what they did with Messiah. Like, look where they put Messiah. Like, it ruins the stack of spines. My OCD hurts. Make it stop. Why? Leave me a comment down below. Please like and subscribe so more people can find some of these great books. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.